The headlines for this hour on VTV News. Top Vietnamese leader warmly welcomed in Beijing on state visit to China. Power of national unity awakened by August Revolution. And in our news, Russian president pays state visit to Azerbaijan.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 3 p.m. local time in Hanoi. You're watching VTV News. Chinese Party General Secretary and President Xi Jinping and his spouse hosted a state welcoming ceremony for Vietnamese Party General Secretary and State President Doan and his spouse in Beijing on the morning of August 19. On the following story.
This marks Party General Secretary and State President To Lum's first official foreign visit in his new position. It's a particularly important diplomatic event between Vietnam and China this year, underscoring Vietnam's consistent policy of prioritizing relations with China. The visit is crucial for bilateral ties, which have been developing positively recently. Chinese party and state leaders extended a solemn and warm welcome, hosting a ceremony with the highest protocol reserved for heads of state with a 21-gun salute. Shortly after the ceremony, the two leaders discussed measures to strengthen the comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership between Vietnam and China. The top Vietnamese leader respectfully thanked the Chinese General Secretary and President Xi Jinping, other leaders, and the people of China for their warm and friendly welcome, which deeply demonstrated the camaraderie and brotherly relationship between the two parties and countries. He wished to continue fostering friendships with the Chinese General Secretary and President and senior leaders of the party and state of China, and to promote the comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership and the community of shared future between Vietnam and China. Their discussion touched on the situations in their respective parties and countries, as well as the relationship between the two parties and nations. They also talked about major strategies to enhance trust, consolidate friendship, improve the effectiveness of substantive cooperation in all fields, maintain peace and stability at sea, and continue to develop the Vietnam-China relationship in a stable and sustainable manner. The two leaders had in-depth discussions on many international and regional issues of mutual concern, emphasizing coordination and support at multilateral forums and international mechanisms on the basis of the legitimate interests of the two countries and actively contributing to the common interests of the international community.
In the evening of August 18, Party General Secretary and State President Doan, his spouse, and a high-ranking Vietnamese delegation visited the Vietnamese embassy in Beijing and met with the staff representative of the Vietnamese community and Vietnamese students in China. Praising the Vietnamese community's efforts to foster the Vietnam-China friendship, the top leader underlined the need for them to continue making greater endeavors in diplomacy, trade, academic research, and integration into the local community. The Vietnamese party and state always consider the Vietnamese communities abroad, including those in China, an integral part of the great national unity bloc, adding that the state is committed to providing all necessary support for Vietnamese citizens living abroad. The leader expressed hope that the Vietnamese community in China would continue to stay united, support mutual development, comply with local laws, and contribute to the host country's progress, all while maintaining a strong connections with their homeland. On Monday morning, the Ministry of Education and Training held a conference to summarize the 2023-2024 school year and outline tasks for the 2024-2025 school year. The event connected online with 63 provinces and cities across the country. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính attended the conference. Speaking on behalf of the government, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính acknowledged and praised the education sector's significant achievements in the past school year, highlighting 10 outstanding accomplishments. However, he also noted several shortcomings and limitations, discussing their causes and lessons learned. Looking ahead, the Prime Minister requested that the education sector carefully prepare for the new school year, especially focusing on improving the quality of teaching staff to meet new development requirements. He also called for a comprehensive evaluation of implementations of innovation in general education programs and textbooks. National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn presided over the National Assembly Standing Committee 36th meeting, which opened in Hanoi on August 19. In his opening remarks, the top legislator said a Q&A sessions will be arranged during the four-day meeting, during which lawmakers will discuss 12 important issues. 3 draft laws will be tabled for consideration for the first time during the meeting: the revised draft electricity law, a draft law revising and supplementing articles in the law on standards and technical regulations, and another on amendments to the law on officers of the Vietnam People's Army. The committee will also comment on the revised version of the draft law on the People's Air Defense based on the opinions of National Assembly deputies at the recent 7 sessions. The National Assembly chairman stressed the large number of draft laws dated for the 8th and 9th sessions. He stressed the need to carefully assess the necessity of these draft laws and consider appropriate timing for supplementing the lawmaking program. 79 years have passed since the day of the August Revolution. Events that happened along this historic journey have affirmed the strength of the people and demonstrated their strong belief in the leadership of the party and the guidance of President Ho Chi Minh. This great solidarity has empowered the revolution to overcome difficulties and achieve remarkable victories.
The city of Hanoi on the morning of August 19, 1945. The whole city seemed to shake with the power of the masses. The rally at Opera House Square transformed into an uprising to seize power. The fervent atmosphere of that day, 79 years ago, remains vivid in the memories of revolutionary soldiers who lived through it.
Revolutionary forces went first, then the masses followed them. During the march, my followers held weapons and the people followed us to the Opera House. We gathered the masses to seize power. The red flag with a yellow star hung above the Opera House.
Beyond patriotism, there was enlightenment and the will to fight for the country's freedom. During the ceremony declaring independence, tens of thousands of people shouted their determination to use all their spirit, strength, and their lives and property to protect freedom and independence. They swore this oath together with the newly formed government. After the August Revolution, the Provisional Government of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam was born amid great difficulty. The treasury had only over 1.25 million dong left, half of which was torn money waiting to be destroyed. Faced with this situation, President Ho Chi Minh penned a letter urging people to participate in the Golden Week from September 17 to 24. His call resonated widely, drawing responses from people across the country.
Without hesitation, my family contributed more than 300 taels of gold. To put this in perspective, my father had purchased this house, the largest on Hung Dao Street, for 600 taels. So 300 taels is almost half the value of this house. But to us, there were many other, more important things than gold.
370 kilograms of gold and many other assets were donated during Golden Week. But that week was not just about gold, silver, or wealth, but also the golden hearts of the people and their love for the country. The government and the Party Central Committee called on the people, and they responded. It was clear that the people had faith in the leadership of the government, and it showed the solidarity between the party and the people, between the government and the people's trust in President Ho Chi Minh. The unity across all social classes empowered the revolutionary government to tackle pressing challenges step by step. This solidarity stood as a powerful testament to the strength of national unity.
During the height of the Great August Revolution, the People's Public Security Force was officially established. The day of August 19, 1945 was designated to be the traditional day of the Vietnam People's Public Security. Over the past 79 years, the People's Public Security Force has proven worthy of its loyalty to the party and dedication to the people. It is a force that puts country and service above self. On this long journey, the People's Force has fulfilled great duties in protecting national security, social order, and safety.
The Republic of South Sudan is facing poverty, conflict, and instability. Apart from dedicating themselves to training local police forces, Vietnamese police officers participating in peacekeeping activities here also bring love to the locals. This once again demonstrates Vietnam's international commitment to actively and responsibly participate in maintaining peace, security, order, stability, and development in the region and the world.
We highly appreciate the contributions that the Vietnamese public security officers participating in UN peacekeeping missions. They have devoted themselves with a true professionalism, demonstrating a strong commitment to the peacekeeping mission in South Sudan.
We need people who come here with the spirit of overcoming difficulties and hardships. Vietnamese officers have been performing their duties very well and contributing very effectively to the work of UN police.
In the field of crime prevention and control, the Ministry of Public Security promotes multilateral and bilateral cooperation to enhance information exchange and coordination in investigating and handling crimes and transnational crime rings related to Vietnam.
It can be said that the international cooperation work of the Ministry of Public Security with police organizations of other countries and international organizations has gone exceptionally well. We have built trust with our partners when exchanging information. We have an international responsibility to other countries, and of course, this is reciprocated.
Clearly, the foreign cooperation efforts of the People's Public Security continue to affirm its role as one of the main pillars of Vietnam's foreign policy.
And before moving on to some other news, let's take a look at foreign exchange rate for today, August 19th. Coming up next on VTV News, import-export through Lao Cai border gate doubles over the same period. And divers collect trash to protect environment in Con Đảo. The import-export turnover through Lao Cai province border gate in the first 7 months of the year reached more than $1.5 billion, an increase of 99% compared to the same period last year, of which export reached more than $1.1 billion, an increase of 116% over the same period, with the main items being agricultural products, yellow phosphorus, pellet wood, coffee, and footwear. Notably, since the beginning of the year, more than 175,000 tons of durian have been exported through Kim Thành International Road Border Gate number 2 with a turnover value of $660 million, accounting for more than half of the total export value. Recently, the authorities on both sides of the Lao Cai, Vietnam and Yunnan, China border have strengthened connections, created favorable conditions for custom clearance, and promoted import-export activity, logistics, and cultural exchange. Vietnam's first BAP certification has been awarded to a rice shrimp specialized area in Cà Mau. According to the People's Committee of Thới Bình District, Cà Mau Province, BAP certification issued by the Global Aquaculture Alliance recognizes best aquaculture practices. This certification opens up more export opportunity for Camo shrimp and Vietnamese shrimp in general, especially in the world's most demanding market. The Global Aquaculture Alliance, with over 1,100 members across 70 countries, has become the leading organization representing the global aquaculture industry. With minimal investment and just 15 days of work, Mân people can generate income. This seemingly unbelievable scenario is a reality in Mân ethnic group villages of Đam Rông district, Lâm Đồng province. Through the creation of a silk production chain, many poor households have quickly escaped poverty.
This mountainside village is home to Mân people in the Rusal commune, Đam Rông district, Lâm Đồng province. Mulberry cultivation and silkworm raising have changed significantly. Every household takes care of their silkworm trays. For every box of seeds raised, they can collect 60 to 65 kilograms of cocoons after 15 days, earning $300 to $350.
Mulberry is easy to grow, and generally, the monthly income is good.
Over the past 3 years, the Rusal commune has seen a poverty reduction rate of 2 to 3% per year. This result is thanks to the suitable livelihood of silkworm farming for cocoon production. The practice requires minimal capital investment, yet generates income quickly.
They do not need to pay for the seeds in advance. We will deduct the money for the seeds later, so that they have the initial capital to do so.
More than 2,000 households in Đam Rông district have joined the company to raise silkworms. Every month, farmers supply about 80 tons of cocoons to the company. One effective poverty reduction strategy is investing in community-based mulberry cultivation, linking production with the consumption.
Now we are very stable. The factory signs the contract with people, so they have a place to sell products.
Now that poor households have access to suitable livelihoods within production chains, rapid and sustainable poverty reduction is more feasible. As a result, the poverty rate has dropped significantly from 73% 20 years ago to only about 12% today.
The severe floods and landslides in Sơn La province have damaged many roads and even swept away dozens of suspension bridges in villages. With the new school year approaching, hundreds of students in many remote areas are struggling to get to school. More to follow.
Hue Sang School houses 205 primary school students in its boarding facilities. These children primarily come from the Thai, Hmong and Khmer Mu ethnic groups. To reach the school, they must cross a stream, the only available route. Hien, a first-grade teacher, has been working at the most remote and difficult school in Chiang Noi commune for 3 years.
Every day, going back and forth is very difficult. It's only when I see the students arrive at school that I feel at ease.
Chiang Noi Primary School suffers the most severe consequences from the recent floods and landslides. All desks and chairs were destroyed, and books for the new school year were rendered unusable. The school serves over 700 students across 6 locations.
Without bridges, many areas are very difficult to reach. But we do not give up and unite together to go to school.
The floodwaters flowed so rapidly that female teachers couldn't travel alone and had to be accompanied by male colleagues. Last July, the suspension bridge was washed away. Now it takes a 3-hour journey by foot or motorbike from the commune center. 12 suspension bridges used by locals were severely damaged, prompting Sơn La province to request urgent construction support.
Each bridge repair costs between 120,000 and 160,000 USD. We've used our reserve fund for immediate fixes, but this is a substantial source of funding.
Preschool and primary school students in Sơn La province will return to school to prepare for the new academic year. Despite the challenges, teachers and students are determined to overcome difficulties together.
For over 2 weeks, divers have been collecting waste accumulated in more than 600 hectares of coral reef and mangrove forests in BEIJING, Cao and Ba Islets in Côn Đảo district, Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu province, with about 2.1 tons of waste collected, mainly fishing nets, ropes, packaging, and beer cans. After the collection, the waste was brought ashore, classified, bagged, and transported to the mainland for transfer to units in need of reuse and recycling. The remaining amount was gathered at the centralized waste treatment area for incineration. Côn Đảo district, Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu province, currently has about 1,200 hectares of coral reef with more than 350 species of coral, the most in Vietnam. Coming up next in our news, Russian president pays state visit to Azerbaijan. An electric aircraft to be future of air travel. Russian President Vladimir Putin arrived in the capital of Baku, Azerbaijan on Sunday evening, starting a 2-day state visit. President Putin and President Aliyev will hold official talks on Monday. There will be the third face-to-face meeting this year between the two leaders, during which they will discuss issues related to further promoting bilateral strategic partnership and alliance, as well as current international and regional issues. It is expected that after the talks, the two leaders will adopt a joint statement and sign intergovernmental agreements and other documents. The Russian president's visit to Azerbaijan takes place in the context of Ukrainian army launching an attack on Russia's Kurd region. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinkin arrived in Israel on Sunday in his 9th trip to the region since the Gaza conflict began. The trip is aimed at promoting a ceasefire agreement that is showing signs of positive progress. According to the plan, Blinken will have separate meetings with host country officials, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, and President Isaac Herzog, before leaving for Egypt on the next day. While Blinken was visiting Israel, a bomb exploded in Tel Aviv on Sunday night, killing one person and injuring several others. The police immediately arrived at the scene to deal with the consequences and investigate the incident to determine whether this was an act of terrorism. U.S. and South Korea troops kicked up a large-scale exercise on Monday, aimed at strengthening their combined defense capabilities. According to the South Korean Joint Chief of Staff, the 2024 UFS joint drills are based on an all-out war scenario and are similar in scale to last year, with about 19,000 South Korean soldiers participating. The exercises include computer-simulated command exercises, field training, and civil defense exercises. This year's program includes 48 field training activities such as amphibious landings and 5 live fire drills, up from 38 last year. The drills are expected to last until August 19. In the future, instead of sitting in cars for city travel, we'll likely board electric planes to move within urban areas. As electric engines technology advances, small electric aircraft models are poised to revolutionize the way we travel, offering solutions to urban traffic problems. More to follow.
This view from the cabin may become familiar in the future. Instead of having to endure hours of traffic jams, urban travel will be quick and easy, thanks to small electric planes. Manufacturers around the world are developing small electric planes to serve the daily travel needs of passengers over short distances. For example, this supernal eVTOL model is capable of carrying 4 people at a time.
This is an electrical vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. We call it an eVTOL. Its purpose is to change the way people get around. It is an all-electric aircraft that has about a 60-mile range, flies at about 120 miles an hour.
The new model from the German company Lilium is also capable of vertical takeoff and landing, but uses an engine to generate thrust. This electric aircraft has successfully conducted test flights in Andalusia, Spain. Faster, more convenient, but not more expensive. According to calculations, the cost of this type of aircraft is only equivalent to that of a regular taxi.
It's an eVTOL, electrical vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. There's quite a few under development, but this one is absolutely unique and stands out because it's not driven by rotors, it's driven by fans, flies on batteries.
Electric aircraft capable of flying 1,000 kilometers on a single charge already exist. However, experts say that mass commercial operation of these small electric planes will require suitable areas for safe takeoff and landing. Projections suggest that by 2040, approximately 430,000 small electric planes will be operating globally, creating a market worth $1.5 trillion.
And now, as usual, let's continue with the weather forecast. That's all the news for today. To rewatch our program, you can log on to VTVgo.vn or download a mobile application VTVgo. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.